But before we start the review, don't forget to like and also subscribe and share with your friends. Also, we got brand new videos dropping every Wednesday. If you also love discussions on the hip hop culture as well, don't miss the Creating Bloggers podcast that also happens every Monday and Thursday.
I'm a giant fan of Dr. Dre.
Yeah, it's both of us are perfectionists, so it's really frustrating sometimes. The sessions.
Yeah, you guys getting together?
Yes.
Do you ever butt heads?
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to Cell Reviews on Statistics TV. I'm your host DJ T-Cell, and today we are back for another review, and we're talking about Anderson Paak's latest project, Ventura. Now, Anderson Paak, we know him to be the type of person to create albums, talking about his experiences in various cities or counties. I don't know exactly what they call it over there, but basically he talks about experiences that he's basically faced, imagined, or would like to see in a particular city. From what we received so far and from his previous albums, is basically the experience he has experienced in these cities. Like, it starts off with Venice, and then we have Malibu's his experience in Malibu, his experience in Oxnard, and as well now he's gonna present to us the experience that he's faced in Ventura. The cuts on this album is Jet Black, Make It Better, as well as What Can We Do. These three tracks are possibly the only tracks that I listen to again and again and again. Of course, Make It Better is featuring vocals from Smokey Robinson, produced by Alchemist as well. So already I'm biased here because Alchemist is my favorite hip hop producer. Obviously second to DJ Premier. Not comparing the two, I just think that those two are great. But yeah, I love Smokey Robinson's contributions to this particular track. I mean, I don't think it was Smokey Robinson's best job, but again, we gotta give him the credit, like, you know, the benefit of the doubt, simply because of the fact that he is 79 to 80 years old. It's not like Anderson Paak can actually tell him go harder, because if he goes any harder, he's probably gonna end up dead. Like, Jet Black was possibly the best representation of the album. In fact, like, you know, he's giving an ode to black love. In my opinion, I personally believe that Brandy's vocals performance on this was actually simply amazing. I personally believe, I like, you know, the way that Anderson Paak has actually set up the hooks to be used on this album. I personally thought that this track, I could listen to this track again and again. But nothing can beat what Can We Do, featuring the vocals of the late Nate Dogg, who died due to health problems. Like, it's such a legendary feature. Like the way that Anderson Paak has been able to, you know, give an ode to such a legend like Nate Dogg, and not in a non-cringy way. In my opinion, I personally think that this is something that is very hard to do. Like, it reminds me of when Kendrick Lamar done it on To Pimp a Butterfly. He brought Tupac like into the album, but not to give a rap, just to interview him. You know, I personally felt that that was a good nod to such an icon. I felt like the way he brought Nate Dogg in was such in a memorable way, in which he doesn't only respect the legacy of the rapper vocalist. Can I say that? Yeah, I guess I can say that. The way that he brought in Nate Dogg to feature on the album, it respects his legacy, as well as serve with a continuity of the tone of the album. Like, it's not as if the tone was sacrificed in order to pretty much just have Nate Dogg on the feature just because Ventura is on the West Coast. Like, there was an actual plan to have him on the album. And, you know, like, things like this can easily go wrong. Just ask Drake on Scorpion when he actually brought in Michael Jackson. Like, comparing these two, this is what I'm talking about, because it was just because he wanted to. There was no real plan to actually have Michael Jackson on the album, which came across to me as very cringy and very rushed. Of course, it's a stark contrast here, because there was a reason for Nate Dogg to be on the album. His vocals actually added to the whole theme and to the whole tone of the album, and it was pretty much what Nate Dogg would do if he was alive. And I personally felt like this was a great capping off of such a legendary vocalist, rapper, whatever you want to call him. He done it. He is, like, you know, we all know that how strong his hook game was. The tracks that made it to my crate was Make It Better and And what can we do? These two tracks, like I said, like I couldn't resist not supporting these tracks if I was to be out on a live set. I'm very biased to any production or anything that includes Nate Dogg, as well as any productions by Alchemist. So this was an easy choice for me. There were no throwaways in this album, which is quite good. Just because I have done these cuts or in my crate, like, you know, the tracks I will take out to play or the tracks I'm listening to over and over again, this doesn't diminish the quality of the other tracks. In fact, I actually felt that there was a couple of honorable mentions here. I personally felt like Twilight is possibly the best expression of love that Anderson Paak could put on wax for for love for someone. Like imagine a Twilight. You know, a Twilight is something that you experience when is on the cusp of leaving the daytime and approaching the nighttime. And the scenery here is beautiful, and also what he was talking about on the track is enough for you to sink your teeth into. Overall, it seems like Ventura is the place in which he experienced possibly one of his most stable relationships. And because the songs in here are quite vulnerable, they, like, you know, it shows compared to Malibu, it really shows how much, like, you know, the evolution with Anderson Paak himself, and it shows that he's also open to a relationship. In fact, to a relationship based on this city or based on the experiences in this city. In fact, I will go as far to theorize that he probably had the best relationship in this city, maybe when he was younger or maybe in his teen years, I don't know, but he had basically messed it up, which is why it opens with the track Come Home, you know, where he's talking about cheating and, you know, begging for his girl back. You know, in comparison to Oxnard, I think this is the strongest work he's put out. I personally think it's an improvement from Oxnard. And, you know, and this is not to say that Oxnard was actually bad. On the contrary, it really was good. I actually enjoyed Oxnard. The thing about it is that it was extremely forgettable. And it's not as if, like, nothing really pulled you onto the album. Not just this, it was practically a rap album. I mean, the reason why I say that is because it was such a disconnect from what Anderson Paak actually offered you in previous albums like Venice and Malibu, before the release of Oxnard. So when you're coming in here and all you hear are more features from rappers than singers, there is a problem. And this is not to say that I had disagreements with the raps on this album, because in my opinion, I really love to hear the stylings of Jermaine Cole, K Dot, the abstract that is Q-Tip, and of course we can't forget King Push features on this album. But it felt forced on Paak. It felt like he wasn't given much creative freedom in order for him to actually insert his best self forward on that album. And, like, you know, like, and in fact, you can pretty much tell this because when you listen to Oxnard, the features stole the show. However, you can actually appreciate the decision that Dr. Dre made by taking more of an executive role in bringing in in recruiting the best sound engineers or producers for this album, and just allowing Anderson Paak to do what he does best. That was fully felt, because he said that in interviews that Dr. Dre actually gave him a lot more creative freedom to work with the album, and you can hear it. The album does have potential for repeat listens. It's very structured. Considering the stories in Malibu and also in Ventura as well, you can tell that there was kind of a mini arc, like, you know, like he was resistant to relationships. He wanted to live his best life in Malibu, and now you have him, quite more introspective, quite reflexive. And also, like I said, with the fact that he starts off with Come Home with him asking for his girl back, he's now starting to realize that he should be open to relationships. Like, love is a good thing. This is what he experienced in Ventura. It's quite a stark comparison, this album and Oxnard, because Oxnard was so dark and gritty. It was so like especially in the track Head Low, like, he's getting head in a car and he's saying he's stuck in the middle of a traffic, and he's saying go around, and this girl is still giving him head. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, this is what you get in Oxnard. Compared to Ventura, he's not even talking about that anymore. Like, you know, he's in a different headspace. Perhaps what he's experiencing in Ventura is just a coming together of after he has experienced this relationship in Oxnard. Because it ends with a baby mama drama, like he's getting caught for having multiple women, etc. There's a lot of growth in this album. 6 months apart is quite an interesting release, but at the same time it does serve a kind of a flowing cohesive story where the arc of Anderson Paak is actually completed. When you think of, like, he's been in a destructive relationship in Oxnard, he's done some shady bad things in Oxnard, but in Ventura it kind of makes up for it. It kind of says, okay, I need to go to love now, I need to face that side now. Once again, thank you so much for checking out this review. I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comment section, so make sure you do comment below, and also present your thoughts. Like I said, like I don't think this is vintage Anderson Paak yet. I think there's more to come from him. I personally think he can top Malibu. Malibu is not like as if that was the holy grail of his work, but he did do but the album did do very well to propel him to the recognition that he's receiving now. And I feel like my love is in Ventura after listening to this album.